All right. What is up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. This is the technically third call, first call of Masters as a whole. So in this call, marketing. We're going to be talking about marketing, but there's like a lot uh, um, of moving pieces in a fleshed out marketing strategy. So in previous recordings, calls, whatever it may be, we've discussed uh like the most important things when it comes to like brand and product. But in this one, a lot of what's there, I feel like the strategy is pretty fleshed out and like templatized as much as it can be in the curriculum itself. So the what I want to do for the first like 10-15 minutes is talk about a marketing angle that should help clear some things up, because I feel like most people, they tend to gravitate towards the thought that like if you can show people how to make money, then you're kind of set, you're kind of guaranteed to make money, which it makes sense. And then the second thing we'll talk about is I want to go over Justin Welsh's landing page for his LinkedIn course and kind of make some connections there. But if you haven't and you want to go over like more of a breakdown of what I did for the 2 Hour Writer landing page, there is the previous recording from the last cohort where we go in and break that down in the first like 15-20 minutes of the call. So that could be helpful. But in this one, we'll go over a different product. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just the positioning of a product and what I've seen do well a lot recently, because I've kind of had my finger on the pulse of like the creator market for 3-4 years now. And so like I've seen a lot of things come and go, and I've seen a lot of discussion both on Twitter and in other places. And I've just noticed that people are really starting to like steer away from the super heavy direct response salesy messages, right? You think of like a classic ClickFunnels landing page with all the banners up top and the countdown timers, and then all of the comparisons of like all of this value it's valued at $5 million, but you get it today for $9. And then it kind of turns people off. And so I see more people talking about like how that's just not the way to go, how like people relating to those things or doing those things are scammers. And so a lot of people they already have different perceptions in their mind when they're going through landing pages like that. And so from studying people like Justin Welsh, Dickie Bush, David Perel, and others who aren't necessarily selling make money online products, and even on course platforms like Udemy and other things, like there is plenty of money to be made in non-make money online angles or positionings of your products. And so when I made the 2 Hour Writer, I didn't make this connection before, but the main angle I was taking there is status and opportunity. So we could go into the whole like human behavior aspect of like pursuing status. It's just like a desire that a lot of people have, and it's what a lot of people chase. And then in terms of opportunity, so we're in like some state of the world where people are looking for different modalities to achieve said status or more opportunity in their life. So when I created the 2 Hour Writer, I wanted to I had results that I could flex pertaining to money like with writing, but I tried to keep that like as minimal as possible. Is more so like, here's who I am, here's what I've done. That was in the about me section. But the angle for the entire product was more so for increasing your opportunity or status in this world through online writing. And so then that opened up the opportunity for me to bring in the parts where I talk about like internet content being your public resume, and like why writing is a great skill to learn and having a lot of benefits behind that. And also like in terms of the public resume, like job recruiters and other people going to the internet in order to find people to work for them, either by hiring or by contract work. And so I kind of took that angle. And while that implies money, it's mostly opportunity based, right? And status based, and being able to move forward in the world. So if you have a product that can't be isn't directly tied to results relating to money, you may be able to work it into the status and opportunity angle and talk about it from there. So acquiring new skills so you can get a better job, or being more productive so you can do higher quality work and again move up the status ladder. There is a way to formulate an argument around that with the marketing strategy that I present in the curriculum itself, right? And so fleshing out all of the different aspects of that, like the goals, the problems, the benefits, unique mechanism, et cetera, relating to your offer, and how you can best position it towards that market, which is trying to achieve more opportunities and status in this world. So that was just a first thing that I wanted to go over. And then the second thing, we will quickly go over Justin Welsh's landing page, because I think it's unique. And I think he challenges a lot of things. And the purpose of me showing this, oh, this looks weird. One sec, I'm trying to share my screen, but it's, Zoom isn't going to let me. Oh, yes, it will. Okay, one sec, sorry. Zoom. Well, that is not going to work. I should have done that earlier. My system preferences won't allow me to share my screen. Joey, do you think it'll let you? I'll send the link in the chat, because I just want to do a brief overview of this landing page, and then we'll have a good amount of time to answer questions relating to anything, whether it be marketing, whether it be brand, content, etc. It can be anything, because I know like creating a first offer or product, or just an offer or product in general, it can be built immediately, or it can be built like once you have an audience and you have clarity on what you actually want to build. So I know a lot of people may be holding off on that and may not have questions pertaining to that. So any question goes in these calls.
I can't share at the moment. It says that you disable screen sharing, but maybe if you give me permission, I'll be able to.
How does that look?
Let's see. All right. So you just want me to show that landing page?
Yeah. So I'd encourage everyone to go through just any landing page, right? It's always good to read up or look at and dissect the landing pages that people you know are doing well are getting results with. And so the main thing here is that Justin, he does well. He takes the traditional approach to the headline, where it's go from undiscovered to growing and monetizing your LinkedIn account. So he's implying a transformation here. So point A is being undiscovered, and that's his way of describing it, to point B, which is growing and monetizing your LinkedIn account. And then under that, unlock the potential of LinkedIn and accelerate the growth of your personal brand. This is the exact system I used to go from 0 to 325,000 followers and 3 million plus in income with 0 paid ads. So he's taking the make money online approach here, but it's very similar. This could have, I would recommend checking out Dickie Bush's landing page for Ship 30 for 30 and David Perel's landing page for Rite of Passage, because those both take like the opportunity angle and are like, they present different reasons to start writing and growing online as opposed to like making an income. And so here, Justin's just using his personal experience as marketing, right? So that's classic headline, sub headline. But then as you scroll down, he immediately goes into just a ton of social proof, right? So not a lot of people can do this, of course, at the start, if you don't have the social proof. But if you just keep scrolling down, you can see that that's like the majority of his landing page. So he has social proof, and then there's a line break eventually where he has, yeah, he has a call to action, and then it's just more social proof. So keep going down, and the thing here is once you have social proof, you can really get away with anything. Like if you have people talking about your product and you have results to flex, that's when you can kind of like start to peel back and you have more flexibility relating to the actual marketing strategy itself. So when you're going over landing pages or just studying things in general, you have to keep in mind, you have to be very careful with like the structure you decide to swipe, because you have to know like where you're at and where they're at. So if someone comes in and they study Justin Welsh's landing page, but they're a beginner that's trying to say like make a LinkedIn course, they're going to have to use more copywriting, right? They're going to have to incorporate a lead that goes over the problems. They're going to have to probably incorporate their personal story and how LinkedIn, as an example, impacted their life and the reasoning behind why they're creating this product, the results they've gotten, the desirable results they've gotten relating to status and opportunity, like we talked about earlier, rather than just money. And then after that, you go into the unique mechanism, which in this case he has, right? It's kind of step 1, step 2, step 3. Here's what you get inside the course. So that's just like scrolled up a little bit more. Up. So like, yeah, what's inside, laying the foundation, content creation with benefits, and then lead capture with benefits, business design with benefits, right? And so that's really all he has. And then you go down and you can see the full curriculum where it just goes over what's inside. But then when I was looking through this landing page, there's not much else aside from more social proof and then FAQs. So this just stresses the importance to me of having like practicing using a fleshed out marketing strategy and trying to write your best lead body illustration of the offer, and then frequently asked questions, testimonials if you have them, etc. So this is just something to keep in mind, right? Where when you're going to swipe other people's landing pages, pay attention to the things that directly apply to you while still maintaining a good structure for the landing page as a whole. And as I mentioned earlier, in the previous recording in digital economics, I went over how I did it, or how I like took the strategy and started writing it on my own landing page for 2-Hour Writer. So this was kind of the antagonist, where it's like he's leveraging his results so that he doesn't have to, I know Justin personally, and he doesn't want to even dabble in like the direct response stuff anymore. And that's the main thing. So if you read my previous co-letter, like you kind of have to understand the principles and structure of direct response marketing with just like common landing page structure in order to make, how would I put it, to optimize as much as you can the sales you make when you don't have results at the start. So you want to put a lot more time into refining your marketing message to be persuasive rather than relying on solely social proof. All right. And so that's all I had for that, Joey. And with that, we can start with questions. So feel free to raise your hand. And if you, it'll probably be easier to just raise your hand. I remember we did the chat questions in the past few videos, and those just got a bit too flooded. So let's start it off. Frank.
Okay. Hi, guys. So my question is actually just, I really only have one question, and it's very specific, and maybe somebody can help me go to a specific person, but I've used Roam a great deal. However, I don't understand the templates. So when you have discovery in blue, the conversations in white, research and, and then references, experience. I just don't know how to get that in there because who I am is I'm bringing a lot of possibilities from the mind to this new lab, but it has to be structured because it's a ton of data. I have to be able to bind these blocks. And right now, the way I do it, it's unfindable. And like Discoveries has, and then to the newsletter, and the newsletter will flesh out from the blocks of the lab. So it's really the one thing that's holding me back right now is a technical thing, a template on how, and I've got pictures of how on how you do it, and for the life of me, and I've used Roam for 2 years. It's not like a beginner thing. I'm kind of intermediate. I can't find a way of getting discoveries, conversations, research, experience lined up to, so I can go to the mind, to the lab, and then the newsletter will flesh everything out. I'll make the connections in the newsletter.
So this is why I tried not to go over Roam in the curriculum itself, is because it can just get insanely complicated, like really fast. That simple, it's weird how that simple of a software can just get insane very, very quickly. So the colors that you're seeing there with like connections, discoveries, that's kind of, it's custom CSS that I put in there to give those specific colors. So it's not anything native to Roam itself.
Right. Yeah, I've seen it with other speakers, and it's just that no one is talking about that level of. I just want to grab that and put that in because that's key. It's the blocks. Your knowledge is in blocks in Roam, and because part of what I'm creating is new idea generation, exponential potential being released. All those conversations have to be blocked, and then I make the connections in the newsletter, and I'm just blocked at a specific. This particular thing, I don't know, maybe you can lead me to somebody who can offline, another day help me set that up. I really would appreciate it because I've tried online, I've tried everyone. It seems to be something that most people can't set up the CSS.
Yeah, so Tim Denning is the one who helped me with like setting up Roam. So I would reach out to him. He's a cool dude either way, but I know he's like fairly busy. So just to save time and bandwidth on the call itself, if you want to send like screenshots or like a Loom video of the Roam itself and like what specifically you're trying to do, you can send that to me or in like the Discord.
Or in the Discord, okay.
And then I'll record a Loom video showing you how I do it in my Roam, and then I'll send that in the Discord just so other people can see as well and follow along with this.
Perfect. And the Discord, I know how to communicate with you. Is there another way to communicate directly with you? What's your preferred method? I can put it on a Loom on the Discord, or what's
let's do it in the Discord. Twitter would be the second best place, but just to keep things organized.
All right, let's do Discord. All right, thank you.
Cool, no problem. All right, Jimmy, what's going on?
Yo, what's going on? I had a few questions if you don't mind.
For sure.
First thing, I was writing a newsletter and then just kind of making a thread out of that. I was really liking that, but my responsibilities with my business partners picked up and now I'm writing a lot more threads. And I was wondering how you would recommend going about that. Should I just write the threads right away and just write one newsletter, or?
Yeah, so it's all variable. These aren't threads for your brand, right?
I mean, yeah, not for my brand. I'm ghostwriting.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, if you're growing fine without threads, like I'll explain it this way. So when things pick up for me in my day, the first thing to go for me are threads. And so like I understand that that's stunting a lot of the growth potential I have, but those seem to be the things that suck the most time and like require, I don't know, it's just that's the one thing that really clears the blockage for me when I have more things to do. So I try it out where like man, I don't know, that is a tough question because the newsletter for me right now is like 10 times more important than the thread
for you. Yeah, for me it's the opposite.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, I'd write the thread instead of the newsletter.
Okay.
And then when the time comes to get back to the newsletter, you'll either have like viral thread topics to start those off with, and just more tweets or other things to come at the newsletter from a more fleshed out angle. And in that case, this is where like you can start to try and systemize things yourself, because I know I usually go from newsletter to threads.
Yeah.
But if it helps you to like do, it's like in development, like mobile first versus desktop first. It's like if you want to do thread first and then newsletter and just flesh things out and lead people
Okay.
into it with the thread, that may work a lot better when you have the bandwidth to get back into the newsletter writing.
Okay. And then off the top of your head, do you know any good fitness newsletters? I know Dan Go does like the 5 Minute Friday. Ashley Richmond does like the Momentum.
Yeah.
They seem more simple than what you and stuff like Sahil Bloom and stuff are going for.
Justin Welsh has a really good newsletter. I recommend checking his out.
So Saturday Solopreneur, just model it
Yeah.
off that.
Yeah, check out his timeline and the way that he promotes it as well. It's pretty slick.
Yeah.
It's not very
actually,
complicated, but it's just cool the way
actually
he
got
promotes
his
it.
course. He's money.
Yeah. I don't know too many that write like, that's another thing, is I don't know many fitness people that like prioritize newsletters. So in the future, that may be something that you can like take over, because newsletter sponsorships pay a ton. But Ajax, Alexander Juan Antonio Cortez, he writes long and like more philosophical newsletters when he has the chance to. I don't think he has them backlogged, so just joining his list would be solid. But he doesn't have a structure for it either. It's just good to see he writes really well. He's persuasive.
Sweet. And then second last thing, actually, I got Obsidian based on Joey's recommendation. I downloaded a template from Tiago Forte. You know that guy?
Mhm.
Do you have any recommendations there? More Joey, I'd assume.
I want to tell both you and Frank to wait like 4 months. Joey and I are building out like a SaaS specifically for like note taking and doing all of this, because everyone has the same problems with like Roam and Obsidian.
Yeah.
So I tell you to wait, but
Okay.
Joey, do you have tips on that? I haven't used Obsidian at all.
Obsidian's pretty good. I don't know. I would just say don't overcomplicate it. And that's exactly, I mean, that's a big problem that Dan and I are going to solve with the SaaS that we're making. So the problem that I always had with Obsidian, I've never used Roam, but the problem with Obsidian and the Zettelkasten method that I used was it was so complex that there was too much friction for me to like be reading a book and then put stuff in there. Right. So I recommend don't go on YouTube and like follow tutorials, because everybody has their different way of doing it. And then it gets way too complicated. Just use it as simply as you possibly can.
Okay.
You might even be better off just using Notion for notes. Like you can just Google like Notion note-taking, Thomas Frank and August Bradley. I'll put those names in the chat. They have a lot of great videos about Notion. So I'm sure that they have like Notion's note-taking system, but I'm sure that they have good systems for taking notes in books. I know Readwise, if you've heard of that, if you're reading on like an iPad or a Kindle, Readwise actually has a connection integration with Notion. So what I do when I read on my iPad is I highlight stuff and then I can export those highlights into my Notion. And that makes things pretty easy to go back and see like, oh, I read Art of Impossible. Like I got these highlights from this chapter. So I'll put those things I just mentioned in the Zoom chat, and I recommend looking into that. But if you do stick with Obsidian, just make it as simple to use as possible so that you're actually making use of it. And then you won't be too overly invested in it, so you can use what Dan and I are making.
Cool. Right now I'm just doing Readwise too, and then I made a template out of Dan's all-in-one newsletter. So and then last thing is, we're doing fitness, a little bit of pain-free movement. How would you position that so it's status and opportunity?
Okay. Before I touch on that, in terms of Obsidian, do like you use the template you downloaded and like delete the things that you just aren't going to use. Like if you're going to, like when I built out Roam, it's like I took a Smart Notes template but then like I started to add things according to like what would actually help me, like with what I'm using the Roam or Obsidian for, which is newsletters or tweets. And so that's when I started to work in like personal experiences or like metaphors or potential systems or action steps. And then you can like, that's kind of like add as you go. And just as Joey said, keep it as simple as possible at the start. And then if you see something that you can add to just make it 10 times better for you, then that works well. So in terms of positioning fitness or rehab and other things for status, the first thing that comes to mind is posture, right? You could dive deep into statistics about posture as the hook, or yeah, mostly the hook, or even in the lead. So the lead, you go over problems and how posture can affect their life, but then you can spin it in a way and use statistics to back that argument with like 80% of employers, the first thing they pay attention to is your posture and how good you look, or something like that. You could probably find a pretty good case study for that. And then you could also position it for like relationship things. Like, do you want to be the guy that walks into the room and kind of like commands a presence, right? Because you're standing up straight. You don't have that nagging pain in your back. Your attention isn't focused on that. You can give full focus to like the audience in front of you. And that's the main thing. So this, in terms of like fitness as a whole, it's mostly how you look and the demands of the specific goals that require you to look a certain way, right? So whether it be going into that new interview, walking up to a girl at the coffee shop, or what's another one? Just how you walk when you're outside. Like, do you feel good about your posture? Or are you like hunched over and doing other things? Are you worried about your back the entire time? So that's just kind of, does that help? I feel like that's, yeah, that gets it out of the way.
Thanks, guys. That was a lot.
No problem.
Jimmy, I'll text you or message you in chat. I have a friend who sells status really well in fitness. I think they're going to do like 8 million this year. So I had to take a program. So he's just, yeah, his name's John Madsen, super cool dude. But
John
as
Madison
far as like
or John Madsen?
John Madsen, yeah.
Madsen.
But I'll send you like, yeah, he does. It's all status play, like everything.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it does any like actual fitness related stuff. It's just all related to status. So that's cool.
So, appreciate it.
Nice. All right, Kieran, what's up?
Hey, Dan. So yeah, my current situation is I'm creating a B2C offer to target like a broader audience. So I like your idea of looking at people I'm kind of one step ahead of. So I'm going to do that. So my question is like, what would be a better niche to target? Online coaches and consultants who are like already in business, who I can kind of help with a specific thing like offer creation or organic market or marketing or product, or B, people who are like working a 9 to 5 who want to make money online.
Ooh, that's a tough one. What's the main offer again? Or just
So
like a
my
description?
offer, that's the thing. I'm not too sure what my offer is going to be. I completed your marketing strategy sheet on Notion and some of the other templates you have in there. So it'll be around either probably helping people create, in-demand offers, or helping people create online brands and market themselves organically through non-paid ads to get customers. So those will probably, and around sales as well, specifically converting people into clients online. So they will be probably what my offer will revolve around.
What's your main platform?
My main platform for getting customers, is it?
Yeah, or like writing content.
I have a Facebook group with about 1,100 members. So I get people through there. I used to run a lot of paid ads before, but I don't do that anymore. So currently it's my Facebook group and also YouTube channel.
Okay. In the Facebook group, man, they're both good. They both work really well. I've sold to both. Because I could see this working really well, possibly on Facebook, maybe like LinkedIn as well. If you target, you'd have to get specific on like the industries they're in, but like people making 6 figures plus a year, you helping them turn their current skill set that they use in the job into a profitable offer that they can start selling online. I feel like that would work pretty damn well. And then in terms of like coaches and consultants, I think that works really well, but if they're beginners, because once they hit that intermediate stage and they've made some money, they like start to get a bit too busy. You can still sell to them for sure and make a great income. But I think starting with the beginner market and people that are just getting into coaching, consulting, etc., they can, like, you can help them transform the most and help them set up their offer and funnels. So I honestly, I think this one's up to you, where it can be taking the people with a high value skill set in a 9 to 5 and helping them create an offer that they can start marketing themselves online, or the like beginner market for coaches, consultants, possibly even freelancers, and helping freelancers create a consulting or coaching offer. And really which one you would want to talk about more. And they kind of lead into each other. You may be able to bake that into the same message because they're very similar. It's like one has already created like a minimum viable coaching offer and another hasn't, but they're both going to be learning the same thing. You know what I mean? So you could probably bake those both in on one landing page and market to both, really, because I think they'll both respond to similar messaging, especially if you're trying to grow an audience kind of broad and large.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I guess when I see on Facebook, I see a lot of people. I guess at the same time, I want to be differentiated, and it seems like everyone on Facebook is selling to online coaches and consultants. But that initial niche that you talked about, let's say the person in the high value career making 100K per year, let's say that was me probably 5 years ago when I didn't know how to figure out how to make money online. So I'm almost thinking about targeting that in a unique way as well, because they have only, let's say, one like income source. It's their, high value career. They're really, really busy. So that's something I'm looking at as well. So yeah, that's sorry, I'm just rambling. That's a good perspective. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that'll work well. And you could even you could call out them correctly where they have, accurately. You can call them out. You can call the people out that have that like high-ish status career. But you can also call out those who have been cultivating a high value skill set. So even if they haven't gotten a job yet, but they're trying to, you may be able to steer them in a new direction where it's like, if you've been learning to code and you're starting to look for like opportunities in like the job market, you can also have luck like freelancing here, or even just starting to teach about code and like helping them understand the online space. So it could go both ways there as well. And like you could even talk about that could be the foundation of your content. And then you could target the 6-figure plus earners like on the back end, because the previous option gives you a lot of firepower for content ideas, where you just teach people like, here's how you turn a skill into this offer. Here's how you'd start freelancing. It'd be very beginner level, and you'd attract also the people that have the job or have a high paying job and would want to get in on that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, because you've preempted that, because that's the main problem as well. If you target people working 9 to 5s, they don't always necessarily have money. So that makes sense, targeting people having a lucrative job.
Yeah. And
awesome.
that's like what LinkedIn is filled with. Like Justin Welsh, we've talked about that. It's like that's I love buying courses, or I used to love buying courses. And like a lot of people that are in that space, especially on LinkedIn, like they know the value of self-education, and that's the reason they're making a certain income, and they're willing to invest more in that quality self-education. So targeting like that income bracket, like 6 figures to like 250K a year, that's where a lot of people are going to be spending money on the self-education.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for answering my question. Cheers. Appreciate it.
No problem. All right, Farhan, is that how you say it? Farhan?
Yeah, you said it perfectly, man.
Nice.
So Dan, got a couple of questions, kind of around my current interest and where I want my personal brand to go. So where I'm at currently and where I've made the most progress just personally is in fitness. So I got started in 2019. I was like skinny fat and everything, put on a decent amount of muscle, got strong. And I did a bit of coaching, online coaching for like friends last year. And maybe I was doing it wrong. Maybe it was just like very time consuming, like one-on-one and really just like hand holding them. So I stepped back from it. So that's one thing that I can always go back into if I wanted to. And I actually have a friend who, is potentially looking to be my client right now. But the other thing for me is that I'm really interested in the online business space, because it's one problem I've been trying to solve for myself is really break like, $10,000 per month, or, become a six-figure earner. And I foresee myself wanting to do that more as opposed to doing strictly, fitness coaching. And I posed this question in the Discord and I got a good amount of feedback in terms of like blending these two. That's kind of where my Twitter bio is right now, just like kind of the Jack Solopreneur. That's kind of where I'm aspiring towards right now. And that's my kind of mission, or just the vision I'm trying to guide myself and my followers towards. But my question is, at least for right now, in terms of just getting off the ground and start monetizing, one, I guess, my gut tells me that I should probably do a bit of fitness coaching just to get that experience. But two, in terms of making money online and kind of coaching people how to make money online, at what point should I transition into that, and how should I go about it? Given that that's not a problem I've solved for myself yet, I'm still trying to do that.
Mm-hmm. It can go either way. So you could go the fitness route to make money and then help people understand that, because with how your brand's positioned right now, you can either, to me, it's like you can either help the people that are getting jacked, like they understand the importance of self-improvement, bridge into online business stuff, or you can help online business people get jacked, right? Either way, works either way. And so you could go the fitness coaching offer, or you go a skill acquisition offer, but without the money angle there. So like picking a skill that you really enjoy. So whether that be like that you really enjoy, that you feel like you're above average at right now. So whether it be just marketing, or email marketing, or writing emails, or writing in general, maybe brand design. Like I could see, this is like simple, but and could be made a lot better, but I've yet to see someone create, like people create content products all the time, but people rarely create brand products. Like here's like a brand starter pack for breaking into the creator economy, where here's how you design the perfect header. Here's how you write a good bio. Here's how you create the best profile picture. Here's like, et cetera, and kind of take the applicable design route if you enjoy graphic design, like showing people how to design social media posts and all of that fun stuff. And then you can iterate from there, right? And you can help people. You could even do high ticket with that if you want. So if you want to start email marketing with people, or even consulting, right? So picking one of those skills that you could create an offer stack from now, and then iterate on over time as you get those results more and more. But then you'd be changing the positioning to reflect those results later down the road. So let's say you start with a basic digital marketing product, right? Go over all the foundations of digital marketing, and then you can either offer like a freelancing or consulting service to the same market that you want to target, and help them formulate whatever it is with the marketing. And then with time and with results, you can start to promote that more and more. It's easier to promote the results that you would get with a high ticket offer like freelancing or consulting or coaching. So those are two different options you can go there. Did all of that make sense?
Yeah, that definitely made sense. One thing that I have kind of realized is that in terms of skills, like just technical marketable skills, I don't really have that. I just kind of have this broad ambition to like just make money online. One thing I did do just the past couple of months was I did high ticket appointment setting for a business coach. And that taught me a lot about like just human psychology, how to communicate people, how to guide people towards a certain outcome. So I guess I could add that. I'm not planning to like market that specifically, but I could maybe add that to like my offer stack in terms of how to make money online. So I think what I need to do, I could maybe start with fitness coaching and then keep working on a skill.
You kind of
It's
apply
kind of-
the skills to that, and then you can teach that skill as you get results for your own business. And that, I feel like that would be there. There's a lot of like weird invisible lines that you feel like you're crossing when it's like, I'm teaching a marketing skill and not promising any money, but it's like kind of implying it. So yeah, the fitness coaching offer is definitely like a safer route where you have to do less mental gymnastics, but people to check out for that. I'd recommend like Jack Bly, Gabe Pluguez with Default Kings. Like their funnel and sales system is top notch. They're making a ton of money regardless. Like I love the guys. I've met them in real life, good dudes, but their content is not that good, right? They could be doing so much better on the content side of things. So if you can like emulate their system for fitness coaching on the back end and create good content, like let's say Dan Go, then you're set on the fitness side of things and you'll grow a large audience pretty quick. And that'll like emulating those two people. So Dan Go for content, Default Kings for like offer and sales. That'll get you to a point of being able to leverage that experience much faster.
We appreciate that, Dan. Thank you.
No problem. All right, Moritz. Is that how you say it?
Hello. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I just started with Twitter during the bachelor's course, and now I got approached by some people via Twitter with offering engagement community and retreating from big accounts. And I just would like to pick your brain on when is the time to actually start thinking about it? Is there a certain amount of follower? And then also like what niche should these accounts come from? What is your due diligence, or what is your process to say, well, this is something that makes sense? And then maybe also some prices or groups where this is really some money well invested further along.
So I'd have to see who it is to know for sure, but I would sway away from the people that directly reach out to you, right? I would instead, in terms of like when you should invest in it, it's really whenever you want to, or whenever you feel like your content is at the point where it will pull in followers if it were shared with more people. So it could be today, it could be a month from now. That's kind of just up to you when you want to pull the trigger. But I would, it's hard to explain. With engagement groups, you can try them out since it's like free. You're just networking with people, you're meeting new people. But for like actual paid retweets, I would specifically reach out to someone, a personal brand or an anonymous brand that you know is like, has some personality. Reach out to them and then ask them like if they have rates for sharing posts, because then you're kind of more in control. And the people that usually reach out, it's like they're optimizing for that. Like they're trying to go really quick with like more basic content. They aren't nurturing their audience very much. And so their entire business model is grow very large so that they can reach out to people and offer paid growth with that following, which, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you're going to have a lot better luck reaching out to personal brands or just people who have a good track record and asking for their rates. And then in terms of the audience that you should reach out to, it can really be any, because in this call, most of us are in the like business self-improvement spaces, like, and really other things that are umbrellaed under those. So if you are a business guy and you pay someone in the fitness space to retweet you and you start pulling in some of their audience, one, they're following you because they find your content interesting. So that's a good sign. The second thing is that people that are interested in fitness and improving that aspect of their life are probably, they can be persuaded to be interested in, let's say, business and start improving that aspect of their life, right? They just haven't been exposed to it as much. And that's why they follow you, is to learn about it and potentially buy a product about it. So I would keep things like as close as you can to the audience that will engage with your posts and purchase your products. So if you can find an account that is talking about very similar things as you, that's great. But that's like priority one. But priority two can really be anyone in the self-improvement or business space or fitness or whatever it may be, because then that'll give you a more diverse audience and it'll help you grow larger and larger. And you start to like dig your fingers into other areas of the market. And although it's going to take more time for them to warm up to what you're offering, it's still an audience. It's still people that are interested in what you're talking about. And even if it's not immediately monetizable, there is still a lot more benefits behind having that diverse audience. So priority one, people that will engage and buy. Priority two is really anyone, just to kind of spread your reach even further.
Awesome. And would you make them promise something, or do they promise something upfront, or show you testimonials, or what is the, how can you assess that they'll be delivering what you wish to receive from?
Yeah, it's difficult because like if you were to reach out to me and ask rates, and I was like, I don't sell them right now, by the way, but it's like, I would say like $1,000 or something. And then you were to ask, like, what can I be guaranteed with this? It's really difficult for me to know unless I'm writing your content, right? Because I know how my audience will respond to the content that I write and how far that'll get spread. But then when someone else comes into play and I don't have control over their content, and yeah, it's like hard, you can't give a hard set result. But you can definitely, and that's why it's kind of like trial and error. You may lose money here and there. I personally haven't lost much. Like when I was doing it, if it didn't get much engagement, it's usually I could learn something from that. It's either write better content that will resonate with their audience, or just don't buy from them again, cut my losses. Oh, well, kind of sucks. But that usually doesn't happen very much. You usually get like your money's worth from most of the retweets. But you can definitely ask them like, hey, what have previous results looked like? Like, what have you helped other people do? And have they bought this service before? Because I remember when I bought from someone, the first thing they did was took a screenshot of my account and like the follower count that I was at. And then like 15 days later, they're like, yeah, look at this, you've grown this amount. Right. So I don't know. It really depends. And I've seen other people like they charge per follower, which was kind of weird. And so I know one guy that was charging like $1,000 per 1,000 followers, which is kind of up there, honestly, but maybe you can work out a deal with them. But overall, I don't want to say this because something could go wrong, but I just personally haven't had like a bad experience with paying for retweets.
Mm-hmm. And if you still want to stay fully, writing your content yourself, is it like for somebody who would do retweeting, what do you think, how many newsletter or how many posts should you have already done that he can assess better the situation? Like, okay, well, with this, that seems likely to reach this amount of followers. Is it like, I don't know, you should have at least 10 newsletters and a few thousand tweets? Or
I wouldn't say you need any newsletters, really, because most people won't be paying attention to like like if you ask them to subscribe to your email list, they're not going to be looking at the backlogs. They're going to be looking at like the headline, subheadline, what they're going to be getting out of it. And then it's up to you to deliver on that eventually. But in terms of like the content, it can really be anything. Like as long as your content is perceived as good, like it has a nice structure, it has a good hook, it delivers some form of value and concludes things in the end. Like if you follow like high performing content in Tweet Hunter or the things that I've had in digital economics or other things like that, you can be pretty safe that they'll get better results than someone who doesn't know that and is just paying for retweets on like random thoughts here and there. So in terms of like in terms of like a threshold, I'd say like 100 tweets. Like it really doesn't have to be much at all.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. All right, Jimmy, what's up?
All right, man. So you said something about Default Kings. What exactly do you like about their funnel? First question.
I haven't looked at it recently. I've just heard a lot of people saying that they're like very good. So I would follow their promotions. Their promotions are like, they just do the DM thing, right? So this is, I don't recommend this, but if you want to do it, do it. Create a different account and DM them, like what they ask you to DM them, and just follow them through their sales process. Again, I'm not recommending this at all. I'm not at all, but you could do that and then like follow through their funnel and see what they're doing. And 100% check out their landing page and how they structure that, and just the flow of like how they're getting clients. Because that's the main thing.
Do you like the VSL? Because that's what kind of they're doing.
I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming so because it's working. Like with their size of audience and the content they're writing, it's like average-ish.
Yeah.
They're raking in cash. Just
and
like
I always found their content to be kind of average, but I figured that's kind of like fitness content seems a little average and clickbaity. Do you think that doesn't need to be the case?
No, not at all. It can be made a lot
that's what
better.
It seems like, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's wide open right now in terms of like good content for that stuff.
Okay.
So yes,
so I'm working on some like big ideas and stuff like that, but I'm like, are these even going to hit? Because it seems like it doesn't work on fitness space.
It depends. Post them in the Discord. I like, I'm not posting in the fitness space. I've posted a lot of health stuff before. But I have a pretty good like eye for what should do well.
Okay. What would you say is like one tip to make that people are just missing the ball on that you feel like the fitness niche could be doing better?
Lists, like actionable lists or actionable lists and like myth lists. So it's like, man, I'd have to send examples. I have like a tweet that I used to always do lists when it came to like fitness stuff. Like, here's what I eat for like to feel superhuman. And it was literally just my diet. And then that would spark so much discussion because when you talk about your diet, people want to come in and talk about theirs and what works for them. And that just boosts engagement all around the board. If you mention something weird, like I would always eat sardines and people would come in and be like, why do you eat sardines? And that just boosts the post more and more and more. So if you post like the lists with potentially polarizing things, like if you say you eat pasta, like someone's going to come in and tell you that pasta's bad or that gluten's bad. And then it's just going to boost the engagement more and more and more. So it's mostly like, again, I can send more examples if I can remember where to find them, but I don't know. That's kind of it. Cause I'd have to know what you're referencing in terms of like generic content as well for fitness.
Every other thread's like,
oh, okay.
If you don't sleep 8 hours, read this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How to lose fat by New Year.
Yeah, exactly.
Same shit.
It can be so much better than that. Yeah, if
Okay.
you have like ideas, post in the Discord and I'll like help ideate the tweets as well. Because I like writing about fitness.
Yeah.
So I can help with that.
I appreciate that.
Cool. All right, brother based, Karen Deep. What's
Yo.
going on? Yo.
All good. This one is for Joey actually, because like he is also in the self-improvement niche. And my question is basically like even for his like productivity services. So when you started, I'm guessing I might be wrong, but you were helping people who are above your income. Like they were earning more than you and you were helping them to reach even higher. Right?
Mhm. Right.
So naturally, like in offers, like in my Twitter, what we do is we are helping people who are lower than us in income. But here we are targeting someone who's already making more than us. So how do we convince them that I'm will help you make even more? I'm not sure if the
Yeah,
question
no, that
was
makes sense.
understandable.
So I wondered that when I was first starting out too, but the thing, and this is applicable to pretty much everybody, because when you're starting out, you're approaching people who are making more than you. Even though a lot of people on money Twitter aren't actually making money, but that's another discussion. So the thing you have to keep in mind is you're providing value. You're providing a solution, right? So I'm not sure if you're approaching this from an internal standpoint, meaning like, how do I convince myself that I'm going to help them make more money, or an external standpoint where I have to convince them that I'm going to help them make more money. But either way, thinking about the fact that you're coming to the conversation with a solution to a problem that they have, right? And you're helping them make some sort of transformation. So you're helping them go from A to B. So for example, with my performance consulting, I help people, the transformation I helped them make was I made them more efficient and I helped them make more money. So those are the benefits that I talked about, and that made sense to them. As a ghostwriter, I help people grow more of a following, have more authority, make more connections, and be perceived as a stronger presence or thought leader or whatever in their space. So basically, you are bringing things to the table that you're bringing skills to the table that they don't have, or they're not good enough at, and or they don't have time to do. Right. So like with ghostwriting, sometimes I will submit a thread to people for review, and they're like, no, like this isn't right. Like, do this, this, and this and change it. And then sometimes it kind of feels like, well, if you know the way you want it to be done, why didn't you just do it yourself? Why are you paying me to do this? Well, the reason why is because they don't have time, right? So even if they do kind of sort of know how to do what it is that you're offering, you're still saving them time. And as you get higher level in the entrepreneurship game, time becomes even more valuable, because these people need to be switching into things that are higher leverage. So as long as they trust that you can provide the benefit to them that you say that you can, then they'll gladly pay you to do that for them, because it saves them time and it makes them more money.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Thanks.
Nice. Cool. We're right on the hour, but happy to answer more questions if there are questions. Jim, what's up?
Hey Dan, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. So I just had a quick question, kind of going along with what we were talking about throughout the call. If you had like any other examples of like good, like non-make money online funnels to dissect, just like it, because yeah, go ahead.
I'd say like the ones that I learned the most from are Dickie Bush's and David Perel's. So I put, I think I DM'd that straight to Frank. But everyone in meeting. So this is Dickie Bush's just page, if you haven't seen him already. I'd study his landing page. I know there are some, so in terms of coaching, I know Clark Kegley on YouTube, he has like Metamorphosis 2.0 or more, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's a good one as well. The thing with like coaching and other things that aren't make money online is, while you can market them in like a direct response fashion, it just makes sense to go like more in depth. Like Clark, I know that he sells a lot of those simply because he has like all of the human elements there in a YouTube video, right? So when it's for something like Twitter, that's where, or even LinkedIn, while you can get clients and sales from the timeline itself, very much so, it just makes sense to like flesh out the ideas more and prove your authority in newsletters, blogs, even a lead magnet to set the foundations and lead people into that. And that will help so much with sales, is like the people that are, they trust you with learning about X specific thing. But it really depends. I don't have too many like off the top of my head right now, but Dickie Bush, David Perel, since those are applicable to like what I'm doing. But Clark Kegley, I would just, every single person you watch on YouTube or follow on Twitter, just start to dig into their funnels and like see what angle you can swipe from them pertaining to what you plan to sell.
Gotcha. No, thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm just trying to look for, because even ones like with Dickie and David, it's like indirectly make money online, right? It's kind of like
Right.
take our riding course and then you'll be like better in your career, or, you know, able to make money online. I feel like they still sell it that way, but I think like Clark's a good example. Yeah, because I'm thinking of doing something more like lifestyle design and like combination of like fitness and mindset. So it wouldn't really be like directly like make money online. So I'm just looking for examples, but that was very helpful.
Yeah. I mean, the fitness and like what you mentioned, that can be spun into, it can imply things like that as well, like just the goals that people want to achieve in life. But let me see if their landing page is still good. And this is still kind of the make money online angle. But Self-Mastered is, they have good marketing. I know that that was like Joey's competitor for the longest time.
Yep. They did now.
Are they actually?
They gave up on Twitter at least.
Oh yeah, I saw, what's his name? But either way, they have a good landing page, like structure to it. And even if you don't use the numbers, like he said, like it says at the top, we've helped 250 rock stars building 6 to 8 figure businesses. So I mean, you can kind of flex it in that way where you're calling out the people that you work with and how much they make, right? It doesn't even have to be your results. But then as you go down, they do the like problems and benefits transformation really well with the graphics. And you can see like they don't use much of a make money type deal there.
No, yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah, so that can help quite a bit, but that's the one that comes to my mind right now. But it really, dude, it helps so much, like to just continuously make it a practice to like study those that are selling something relatively similar to what you're selling and just always read their landing pages. And if you actually feel compelled to buy, one, that's a good sign. Two, I would buy it just to see the rest of their funnel, right? Because there's more in the product itself, in the emails following. Like if they have great marketing and you can just tell that it's like they're putting a lot of time into the marketing, invest in it just so you can dissect it and see exactly what they're doing and be able to structure your own in a similar manner.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. So definitely good practice.
Cool.
Thank you.
That helped? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Any last questions? Any last words?
Just a quick question to post the question. Do I put it on cohort chat or on post, or which, where in the cohort should I put my question? Cohort chat, probably?
Yeah, put it in cohort chat.
Cohort chat. All right, that's what I'm doing. Thank you.
Cool. All right. We will wrap things up here. So for those listening to the recording, if you have questions, pop them in the Discord. And thank you for watching.